Hi friends, and welcome to chapter 2 section 3, all about the percent proportion. Okay, so last lesson we found a percent of a number. So what we did in section 2.1 was, what is, say, 35% of 236, just to use random numbers, okay? And I mentioned a little bit about naming the three major parts of this mathematical sentence, okay? The percent is, the percent. That one's pretty easy. So within this percent equation or percent proportion or whatever, know that you're only going to have 1%, okay? And then you're going to have two regular numbers. One of them is the whole, or the one you start with, and the other one is the part. Okay? Now, as long as the percent is less than 100, your part will be smaller than the whole. Okay? Now, as I said in the last lesson, is the English version of the equal sign in math, and of means times. So as you're reading these percent problems, the whole is the one that is connected with an of. The whole is the one that's going to be with the percent. The part number is by itself. Okay? And what we're going to be doing today is we could have any one of these three missing, and we're going to solve for whichever one is missing instead of always just solving for the part. Okay? And today we're going to do that with the proportion. Okay? Proportion. We're going to make equivalent fractions. Okay? And this is actually, I think this is almost more useful than the percent equation that we're going to use tomorrow. Okay, so here's the idea. Here's our percent proportion, and it goes like this. The part over the whole equals the percent over 100. Okay, so basically this is changing the percent to be a fraction, and we need that to be an equal proportion with the part over the whole. Okay, so in the example above here, we have the percent, and so we would say 35 over 100 equals what over 236, okay? And then, excuse me, those are big numbers to cross multiply, so I'm going to use the calculator here. So 236 times 35 equals that, divided by 100, gets us 82.6 would be our part. Now, if we do this the way we did it originally, that means we would change the 35 to a decimal, so 0.35 times the 236, and we should get the same thing, okay? So that's solving for the part. This is mostly useful if we're trying to solve for the percent or the whole, because solving for the part, we might as well just do the multiplication. At least I think that's easier, okay? So let's see what this looks like when we're trying to solve for something other than the part. Well, actually, first we'll do one more solving for the part, because that's what I have written here. So what, oh no, just kidding. What percent of $15 is $9? Okay, so do you see the pattern? Here's our equal sign. And we've got one number by itself, so this is our part. So I'm going to write that where the part goes. Okay. And we're solving for the percent. So that means the top of the other one is going to be our variable. And that's going to be x over 100. And then what percent of 15, the one that has percent next to it and of, that's going to be our whole. Okay. So there we go. 9 over 15. So if we have the part and the whole, we can divide them And essentially that gives us the decimal form of the percent. But we can cross multiply here. I think filling it out here makes it easy because then we don't have to worry about decimals to percents and all that stuff. So 9 times 100 is 900. And then we divide by 15. And we use a calculator because that makes things easy. And I got 60. Okay, so what percent? So this means it's 60% because remember we always want 1% and 2 regular numbers. So this means it's 60%. It should be a little bit more than half. Is 9 a little bit more than half of 15? Half of 15 is like 7.5. So 9 is a little bit more than that. Done and done. Do you see how it's nice to be able to understand what the percent means, make sure everything makes sense in the sentence? All right, let's try this again. Apparently I was in the mood to do a lot of money. So here's another one with a money question. We've got 12.75 is what percent of 50? Okay, so again, let's analyze the sentence to see who is who. Okay, the 1275 is all by itself on this side of the equal sign or the is. So the 1275 is going to be the part. So I'm going to write the part 1275 over, okay, is what percent? So we're solving for the percent again, and that's always over 100 of 50. And whatever is percent of and that number, that's the whole. So we're going to put 50 here. Now let's think about this for a minute. 1275, half of 50 is 25, and this is probably even half of that. So I'm guessing this is going to be about 25%, give or take. That's my estimate. Remember estimating yesterday. So 1275 times 100 is 1275 without a decimal place. And then we divide that by 50. 1275 divided by 50. And look at that. It came out to be 25.5%. Check out my estimating skills. What? Okay, cool. I'm a genius. I'm just celebrating. You have to celebrate the little wins, guys. You don't have to, but it makes life better. Alrighty, let's try this again. This time we're going to solve for a different thing. Let's see if we can figure out what different thing we're going to solve for. What number is 40% of 120? Okay, so let's look at our parts. We have the percent. So the percent goes over 100. Then we need to figure out, is 120 the part or the whole? Notice that it's the one that's next to the percent with the of word, which means that's going to be the whole, which means the what number is by itself on this side of the is, and so we're solving for the part. So we're going to multiply 120 times 40, which gives us 40, I didn't need a calculator for that, 4,800 divided by 100, and the zeros cancel out and equals 48. Let's see if that makes sense. It's a little bit less than half, right? Half would be 60, and this is a bit less than that, so I feel pretty good about that answer. So that's the part. Trying again. 12% of 85 is what number? Okay, so again, let's identify our parts of this mathematical sentence. We have the percent. So we're going to have 12 over 100 equals, and then we got to figure out, is 85 the part or the whole? And because it's the one that's next to the percent with the of, it is the whole. And the what number is by itself on this side of the is, so we're solving for the part. And so we're going to do 85 times 12. That's a divide. 85 times 12 equals 1020. And we're going to divide that by 100, which basically means we're moving the decimal place over 2 places. So it's 10.2 or 10.20 if you'd like. Okay, and if we want to check with estimating, 10% of 85 would be 8.5. And so that's just a little bit bigger than that. So I feel like that's a pretty good answer. Okay, again, learning those estimating rules from the last lesson, it helps, I think, personally. All right, couple more practice problems. We've solved for the part, we've solved for the percent. So my guess is we're going to be solving for the whole. So 18 is 25% of what number? Okay, so let's figure out the percent's easy. That's going to be 25 over 100. And then the 18 is by itself on this side of the is. That means that's the part. And of what number? That means the whole is the variable we're solving for. So this time we'll do 18 times 100, which is 1800, divided by 25, which is 1800 divided by 25 is 72. Okay, now, does that feel good? If we times that by 2, 18 times 18 is 36, and that would be half. 36 times 36 is, in fact, 72. So using the fact that 25 is half of a half, working backwards, 72 totally checks out. Okay, try this again. 40% of what number is 26? Okay, so here we go. Again, the percent's pretty easy. So we're going to have 40 over 100. Set that equal to of what? That means that's our whole, and that we don't know what that is, so that's going to be our variable, is 26. 26 is by itself on that side of the is, so 26 is the part. And we cross multiply, so 2600 divided by 40, and 65. And does that feel good? 26 is a little bit less than half, so 26 times 26 is, or plus 26, 40, 52, and then that's, yeah, so a little bit more than that. That feels pretty good to me. Okay, and, okay, I'm going to see if I'm going to do a different story problem. All right, this one says the average adult male western lowland gorilla eats about 33.5 pounds of fruit each day. How much food does the average adult male gorilla? Oh, it's pounds of fruit. And in a chart, it says fruit is 67%. So 67 is our percent. And then, again, let's read this again. The average gorilla eats 33.5 pounds of fruit. And if the fruit is 67%, that's going to be our part, 33.5. And then it wants, the question asks how much food, which means total food, does the gorilla eat each day? So we're looking for the whole on that one. Okay, so cross multiply. 3, 5, just. Okay, it's been a day. And then we divide that by 67. And 3350 divided by 67. And we get 50 total pounds of food. And then let's stop to think if that makes sense. If 33.5 is supposed to be 67%, that should be a little bit more than half, almost to 3/4. And that feels pretty good to me, being where that is. So they eat 50 pounds of food all together. That's a lot of food. Okay, go gorillas. All right. Good luck. Let me know if you have questions.